Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to shop a Millionaire's estate sale. And truly, I have never seen so much expensive stuff in one place at one time with actual quality taste. The pieces here truly were accumulated over a lifetime. They were absolutely beautiful. Some of the things I was like a little nervous to even look at because I felt like if I broke it, I couldn't afford to replace it. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the beautiful things here, and you guys can go shopping with me. And spoiler alert, I did drop a lot of money here, and that will be its own separate video coming up. And we will go through everything that I purchased, and I will tell you some of the things that I regretted not picking up or that I just honestly forgot that I saw, or looking back at this footage realized what it was. So we'll point some of that stuff out too. And if you guys see anything that you would have picked up, let me know, because I'm always loving to learn what things are worth it, especially outside of the clothing realm. I will be looking at a lot of clothes here because this lady had an amazing Ralph Lauren, Eileen Fisher, and just a ton of great vintage collection of clothing and shoes, but she also had a lot of other amazing decor items and things that I just know are worth things, but I just don't know enough about. So go ahead, shop with me, and go ahead and remember, drop in the comments if you see anything that you would have picked up yourself. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and take a look at is their front hall closet. And this had a lot of really great brands. This was a nice Icelandic wool sweater. I think that's a Geiger. I'm not actually familiar with that, but it was a boiled wool sweater. Very nice. There was tons of Ralph Lauren in here. As I mentioned earlier, they definitely liked Ralph Lauren for sure. Just tons of beautiful different jackets in here. On the other side, I didn't show the footage here just because I was looking quite closely. There was a Christian Dior jacket. This was one of their earlier versions. It still sells well, but not as much as like maybe a modern Christian Dior. There were tons of beautiful things in the kitchen, lots of pottery. I don't know a ton about pottery. And I just, I had to really narrow my focus on this entire house because, as you'll see, there were just so many lots. Like, look at this, just huge lot of crystal glasses, beautiful, tons of them. And that was all one lot. And this room, when I walked into it, I quickly realized that everything in this room was just out of my depths because as you guys have watched me, I am primarily a clothing reseller, but I am trying to dabble in other things like decorations, hard goods, all of that things, especially like more vintage things. But I could tell by the people that were in here taking notes that they absolutely knew what they were doing. I thought this glass was beautiful, but I knew I wasn't going to bid on this stuff, so I didn't want to spend too much time in there, and those people really seemed to be looking at those things. I went to their second closet of jackets. More boiled wool, lots of things made in like Germany or Poland or Austria. Tons of things that were definitely like in their family for a while. And then, I was taking a look at everything in here, trying to make notes of things. There was just so much to look at. But yeah, I just look at that Ralph Lauren, jeans and coat jacket, really beautiful with that checkered jacket over it. I don't know what that checkered jacket was. And there was this really cool vintage wool pants. I didn't recognize the brand at all, but I'm sure it was still worth it. I actually comped out some vintage Pendleton pants very similar to that recently because those were at an auction that I was going to, and those went for like 50 to 75. Pretty good pickup if you can find it. And there was just honestly so much to look at here. So then we went to the other side of this closet. So it was broken up in a few lots in this closet, 3 primarily. There was this next one that was a fur coat, and I did take it out and look at it. I just am not familiar enough with furs to really feel confident like picking those up yet. And I assume this one was taken well care of just, based on where I was. But I do know that there can be dry rot in them. I don't know how to check that out very well. And to me, it just wasn't worth learning in an auction environment. Maybe if I picked it up at the bins or something like that. But an absolutely beautiful coat. I don't know what kind of fur it was. My mom said maybe seal, but I just don't know enough. That looked like a vintage North Face, another boiled wool. And then the next piece, I was like, I saw that inside lining and I was like, is that Burberry? And like, but there was no markings. I checked it all over the entire jacket. It said it was made in Poland. You can see me like kind of low-key flipping out like, is this Burberry? And I couldn't find any markings and I was like, I don't know, but would they have? I don't feel like they would have a knockoff here. Anyways, long story short is I totally forgot that I had seen this jacket in this lot. And later on, I kind of decided that I was like, I'm not going to go after the jackets. I wanted to focus on some other lots that you'll see further on in this video. But when I was editing this video, I was like, oh, let me look that up. I don't know why I didn't look it up in person. I think I was just so overwhelmed by everything in here. But you guys, the regret that I did not bid on this lot. I saw it listed, and listed doesn't really mean anything. I didn't see sold, but listed for 300 with like 30 likes. So I was like, oh no, I think I made a mistake not bidding on that one. I don't know how much it went up for. If I can find it, I'll put it on the screen what that lot went for, but totally beautiful jacket, vintage Burberry. Total regrets not bidding on that one, but that's okay. We can't have everything. And honestly, I don't even know if I can fit everything in my van that I won, that I have to go pick up tomorrow. So we can be okay with what we left behind. Now, it's totally beautiful things in here. Like, look at this boat. There was tons of like old CDs in here. I really would love to kind of build a CD collection and have some stuff. The next thing I was taking a look at were these vintage cookbooks. Now, I don't really know what they were worth from like an actual like reselling on eBay value, but I have an obsession with cookbooks. I love to cook. I actually used to have a YouTube channel doing a lot of homesteading and cooking stuff because we do have a homestead and I love to cook from scratch. And I don't know, I have just a soft spot in my heart for vintage cookbooks. I find that they're just really wholesome and there's a lot of really good ideas, a lot of really good basic tips in them. So I was initially going to look for myself. I think they went for like $50, maybe a little less. After I really thought about it, I was like, I really don't need to have any more cookbooks because I have like an entire shelf of cookbooks. And with three kids, 4 and under, honestly, I've kind of like just simplified some of the cooking that I do lately anyways. So, but there were just really cool cookbooks in here for sure, like stuff that I haven't seen in the past. This room, and oh my goodness, it is just a dream library room. Like, look at how beautiful this room is, you guys. And it was filled with books on all of the shelves and tons of vintage books. I saw like some vintage Steinbeck and just, I don't even know. I'm sure a lot of these books were very valuable. I don't know anything in the book space, but I can just tell you they were beautiful and definitely just some really cool books on there. So I decided to look at some of these books that were on the table, and there were some vintage Wizard of Oz books. Out of curiosity, I would love to just like look up some of these things that I picked up because I definitely think a lot of these things were very valuable, but maybe they're just more nostalgic than valuable. I don't know. If you guys know, you'll have to let me know in the comments. And again, if you see something that you would have picked up had you been there, let me know because I'm always loving to learn. Like if I see things in the wild, to pick them up. Like a lot of people here that were bidding on this estate were definitely like antique shop owners or, other resellers, or possibly just people who collect those things in general. And so they know what those things are worth. But sometimes you might see something like at Goodwill and they don't know what they have. And it's always good to kind of know like, hey, you should pick that up if you see it. Okay, so now we are in their little like 4-season room or parlor. It was so beautiful. I love these tile floors in here. Such beautiful things, like I said a million times already, but yeah, there was really cool stuff. I really liked the artwork that I saw in here, and just a lot of the little like knickknacks were really cool. And there was some oil paintings. There's actually one that I wish I would have bid on because I just assumed it would go up much higher, but it actually only sold for like $65. There were other ones that they had that sold for like hundreds, but it was really beautiful. And some of that stuff is like the things that I want to look out at future estate sales, just for my own home collection, not necessarily for resale because I know nothing about art. But I just know, I guess, what I like, which is, I think, the important thing about art. But there were these really cool things on the wall right there and tons of matching, like, look at all of these matching china sets, like, and how beautiful they are. I loved those. And there was a Le Creuset to the right there. And I think it actually went up pretty high. My mom said that it was already bid up to like 60 something that same day before we even like got home from looking at everything. And I was like, that's too high for me. I really don't need another pot. But, you know, if a Le Creuset was going for cheap, I would absolutely pick it up. But another room filled with artwork. If you guys notice, look at how beautiful these fireplaces are in all of these rooms. There was at least, I think, 4 fireplaces. 2 of the rooms upstairs also had one. And if you guys notice, take a peek at the back wall here. Look at that ship that is in a picture frame. Like, how cool is that? I'm gonna do a little close up in a little bit, but we'll scroll back to that. But there was just like some more knickknacks in this closet. Again, I was getting a little overwhelmed with all of the decor items, especially since that's not my specialty. I really came here to come look at the clothes, which will be upstairs. We will get there. But okay, yeah, look at this. I wanted to see how much that went for. I wasn't sure. Also, that white lamp to the side was really cool. Just a lot of really cool things that if you were looking to shop for your own home, like not to resell, you could definitely get a really good deal on like pretty much all of this stuff. At this point, I was looking for where my mom had gone in the house, and she said she was upstairs. So I was like, okay, we will head upstairs. This is where all of the things that I wanted to look at were at. So, all of the clothing, and this lady had a lot of clothing for sure. Okay, so this is bedroom number 1, and this had probably the least or the second least amount of clothing. But I just wanted to take a look at this table lamp here because I saw it in the pictures. It is so cool. Unfortunately, they lotted, there's like another matching one, and they were in 2 different lots. And I don't know. I'm honestly just in a stage of motherhood where I can't have breakable lamps like that. I just don't think that's in my calling. So I was looking at some of the artwork over here, and there was a bunch of stuff in this dresser that was you had to buy the whole dresser to get all of the stuff in here, unfortunately. So this is not something that I ended up deciding to bid on, mostly because I didn't want to move it, and I know my husband would not want to move it. But it was a absolutely beautiful dresser. I mean, it was definitely probably an antique. Side note, I used to resell furniture actually. And so I do know a little bit about furniture, and this was definitely like a quality made piece for sure. And but there was some really, like, everything in here was in bags. This lady took like immaculate care of her things, which is another reason why I decided to bid on a lot of the clothing, because I felt like even if I didn't get to look at all of it, I was not going to be surprised with things with like rips or holes or stains. And when I tell you almost everything was like Ralph Lauren, or Eileen Fisher, like pretty much like that lady bought a brand that she liked and stuck to it, which I can appreciate. You know, once you find like something that always fits you and your size and you know the quality and the fabric, like, hey, you like what you like, and I get that. My mom said later on that either this one or the other one, she came back and looked and saw a flag sweater, but she told me that later on, and I could not verify. But if I had known there was a flag sweater in one of these, I might have bid more, just because those can go for like upwards of $200 to $300, depending on like the age and the exact print of it. I would have definitely killed to have a flake sweater. I want one for myself, actually. Like, I would love to resell one eventually, but if I find one in the wild and it's like somewhere close to my size, I will absolutely be keeping that for myself. But yeah, I was just going through a lot of these. It was so hard to go through like every single piece of clothing, which is why as a reseller, you kind of need to figure out like how much do I think I can sell? Like, if this is all about this brand or this size or whatever, like, how much do I think I can sell all of this for? So again, the other rows were all just like very similar, all these clothing in bags. And so I just I tried to look at what I could, but I was like, okay, I need to make sure that I'm looking at other things too. But this, I think, was like a boiled wool piece. But yeah, just a lot of really great pieces of clothing. So we will move on to the next room where some really cool vintage finds were. All right, so the next room had some furniture for sale, and I had checked inside some of these because I knew some had the clothing in it and some didn't. And so there wasn't any in this one. There was really cool furs in this room. Again, I don't know enough about furs or like what the resale value was, but I feel like if you were looking for your own personal collection, there would have been some really cool finds in there for sure. And there was some really cool like vintage looking pillows in here. But this room, actually, I didn't find anything, and it was the next room that had the really cool vintage pieces that I truly wish I would have won, you guys, because there was some really good finds in there. Unfortunately, that one slipped through the cracks and someone else won it, and they got a absolute steal. These doors were locked, but look at how big those closets were. Could you imagine? Like, whoever built this house, I mean, truly thought of everything. All these rooms are super spacious and like such beautiful windowsills and trim work, you guys. Like, this is my dream house. It is up for auction. However, I'm pretty confident it's going to go over my pay grade, and my husband wouldn't want something with less acreage that we have now. But how cute was this little sailor's uniform? I don't know, like, if that was, I'm not sure if that was like, it couldn't, I don't know. I don't think it was an old uniform, but it was really cool. So I pulled out some of the things in here, and honestly, like, I feel truly bummed that we didn't win this one because there was some really awesome things. There was this like vintage diaper cover in here, like all these vintage kids clothes. Like, look at all these were hand embroidered. These were really handmade. Like, there was no markings on a lot of these things. I looked for them, and I know like vintage clothing is really for kids going hot right now, especially if you can find like the Mickey characters and stuff like that. Like, this was the diaper cover I was talking about, but it was like hand embroidered. And I did do cloth diapering for my kids for my first two. And I'm in a lot of those groups, and those ladies go crazy over really cool diaper covers. This looked like, I wasn't sure if this was handmade or no, this actually said like made in, I forget, like Taiwan or something. It was a vintage Mickey thing. There was no actual Disney stuff on there, so I don't know if it was made by Disney, but it definitely looked old. There was definitely some really cool pieces in here. And so I started to go through a lot of the clothing too in this pile. This just looked like a kid's like Ralph Lauren piece. But then there was just like a lot of really old, there was like some old gymnastic t-shirts. But then when I really started uncovering it, there was some really cool stuff, like some old Girl Scouts and old Boy Scout stuff. And again, a lot of old like kids clothing. But in here, I ended up finding like an old Nike shirt. And part of me doesn't even want to like look up how much it's worth. Hopefully, for my own sake, it's not worth a lot. But it looked really old. It was embroidered, or not embroidered. It had like 3D. I forget what that's called, where it's like on the outside, like patchwork, maybe, I think is what it's called. But there was some really, really cool pieces in here, and you guys will see them coming up. But then there was, I think that was a Boy Scouts uniform, possibly. Like, this was, I think, like all of just their old kids' clothes, maybe. This is the Nike one. Oh, maybe it wasn't 3D. I think maybe there was another one. But I was looking, this was single stitch, and then if you look, it's like on a Glydian tag or something like that. Which usually means that it's pretty old. And then there was like just these old, like this is a 1991 gymnastics. Like, I don't know, people might pay for the fact that it's like vintage, but they're not going to get like a ton of money for something like that, I don't think. And then there was just some like old school ones, and but then later on I'm going to find a vintage band tee, which is a huge reason. Okay, this was Marquette Gators. Like, one was I don't know if that was the high school around here, if they're the Gators, But the college is in the Gators. Maybe that's what it is. But it was, okay, you guys, look at this Ramones t-shirt. I'm pretty sure this was vintage. It was definitely beat up, but when I was looking up like Ramones t-shirts, they were going up to like $300. That's why I really wanted to win this lot, because I saw that in there and I was like, oh my goodness, that is worth getting some. And this is really cool too. It was just like a patchwork bee. Oh, sorry guys. It's really early when I'm recording this. There was a patchwork bee on there, which was really cool. And just like, I don't know, tons of super neat pieces in here. Again, I wish I had won this one, but I did not. And this was another vintage gymnastics one, but just tons of cool stuff. But we will go into a lot of the meat of what I bid on in some upcoming rooms here. So definitely stay tuned. And again, if you see something that you would have definitely bid on or picked up because it's super valuable, let me know, because I'm always wanting to learn. All right, so we are in the final bedroom now, and they got to the point where they just had to like pile up clothes on the floor because there was just so much of it. And it's just kind of wild to me, but they truly had a lot to go through in this house for sure. Like, this was just an unbranded wool sweater, but it was definitely wool. I have picked up enough wool in my life. My mom actually used to make wool mittens out of like felted wool sweaters. So definitely know what a felted sweater looks like, and that means like that they shrunk it in the wash, and like what real wool feels like. But oh my goodness, so many really cool pieces in here. And yeah, you guys, there was just a lot to look through here. And which is really, I think, important to kind of start to like know your brands and know like what you think you can resell things for, because when you're looking at something like this, you're not going to comp every single piece. Like, that would take way too much time. But I mean, if you are new, that might be a good idea, but like maybe buying some sort of bulk thing like this like wouldn't be something that you would want to do. Like, even that piece I picked up, no matter the brand, I know I can sell that off of style. And like same with this one, like Christmas stuff is so popular. And so like I know that no matter what brand that was, I could sell that, and for like about how much. So knowing those things is really important when you're looking at like a lot of stuff like this, because it can get very overwhelming very quickly. And even like I was so overwhelmed looking at all of this stuff, I started to feel like just exhausted looking through all of this clothing. And it was really hard to make sure that I wasn't getting like my lots mixed up or anything, which is like a huge reason why I started to film some of this, because I was like, well, I can go back and look back at this footage. Although I did not realize when my mom took me here that the bids closed the same day. I guess I've never gone to an auction where that's happened, but everyone runs their auctions differently. And I think because this landed right before like Protestant Catholic Easter, and I say that because I'm Orthodox and our Easter is a different time. I think because of that, they had just like a lot like faster of a close time than they might have otherwise. But yeah, I really wish I would have had the time to go through my footage and like really figure out like how much I wanted to spend on everything and like what I wanted to bid on, because like once I got home, it was really hard to kind of sort through everything that I had like looked at and, figure out. Like, look at that flax linen piece, just really quality brands here. And there was some really just like kind of gems in a lot of these piles, but I will fast forward to some of the things that I won, because we'll do kind of like a abbreviated version of those, because you guys will see a lot of those, I think, in upcoming videos, because there is just so much to go through. You guys are going to just be probably overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that I have to show you. But pit stop before we get to some of the other stuff I won, there was some really cool things in here. This was like vintage. I don't even know, like it's like kids equestrian stuff. There was some really cool things in here. But yeah, I thought this was a very interesting pile. Okay, so then I was looking at this pile, which is something that did come home with us. And I can't wait to show you guys a lot of this stuff. This, I believe, was a, gosh, what is that? Colors of Benetton. I believe that's what that purple one was. And some of this was like youth clothing. I wouldn't say it was kids. But there was like wool sweaters in here and a really cool like wool rug there at the bottom. And just a lot of really just kind of cool pieces in here. This was one of our less expensive lots that we won, but like you can see that's a Ralph Lauren piece. I just know by the equestrian. I think this was a scarf in there. But yeah, just a lot of cool little smaller pieces in here. And I think we paid like $30 for that lot. So definitely a smaller price tag on that, especially compared to some of the other stuff that we spent. And this was really unique. This was like vintage lederhosen, and this was all suede. I was kind of excited by some of this stuff, and the person who got it, I think, definitely got a steal. I want to say it went for like $13 or $17. And I wanted to bid on it, but I looked up a few comps on it, and they weren't bad by any means. Like they were still like $30 for some of this stuff, but I just didn't know like how much was in there and how much more to bid on some of this stuff. And I felt like whoever got it was probably knowledgeable, and it wasn't worth like bidding up a ton for me. So really cool, unique pieces, but just wasn't for me this time. And you guys, there was some more like lederhosen in this one and stuff. So super cool pieces. I just did not know enough about it, but I think that auctions can be a really great time to get some of that stuff for inexpensive. Like if there's not a lot of people bidding against you, it's a good time to learn. Like get that stuff, price it all out, work it through it, and learn new categories that you can sell. That is what I do with a lot of my auctions that I go to for more decor pieces. Like these were very, very nice decor pieces, and antique people were here buying them. But some of the smaller auctions, like you can get away with like bidding on stuff that maybe might not be like super expensive worth stuff, but like still really good resale value. And that's where like I found that MCM piece that you guys saw me sell in the last video. And I have sold like vintage cross pens that I picked up. So stuff that I picked up for really small dollar value and just learned how to find the value of, list it, sell it, ship it, all of that stuff. Like I do have two crock pots, like vintage crock pots that I picked up at an estate sale. I really hope I sell those locally, to be honest, because I don't want to ship it, but I am actually shipping out a Samsonite briefcase that I picked up at an auction. That who knew that they were worth $45? Someone paid $45 and $20 to ship it, so $65 total for a vintage Samsonite briefcase. So the more you know, that's why I like to kind of pick stuff up, because a lot of times too in these big lots, like these big piles of things, there are just random stuff thrown in there that you will have to like figure out and list because you want to get all of your money back out of things. So that's what I really like. Okay, you guys, look at this. Look at this. Crazy. Okay, so I knew going in that I didn't want the shoes on the left-hand side because hilariously, I was like, I don't want to deal with shoes. I don't want to store them. Well, I just was not paying attention because this whole backside has 5 layers of shoes, and that's what you win if you bid on this back wall of clothes, which I did, and we won. And so I took home all of those shoes on the back wall, which I am not complaining about by any means because there were some dynamite pieces in here. There's Coach, there was a Stuart Weitzman pair of shoes in this one, and just like tons of really great shoes. And like, look at, they're all in the box, like amazing for reselling. And I was just looking through a lot of these clothes, and sorry, like this upfront, like sorry for the view right now. I was trying to look at these dry cleaning bags and see like what was underneath a lot of them. There was a lot of silk pieces in here, just a lot of, as you can see, just like very well taken care of clothing. And truly, I don't even know what's in all this. Like when I do videos and we all look at it together, like we'll be looking at it together for the first time for a lot of this stuff. And so I won't spend like too much time in this area because you guys will see it all very soon. I know back here there was like some designer silk piece. I was trying to investigate it, but I couldn't figure it out with like I didn't want to like take apart everything, especially if I wasn't going to be the one to win it. But there's a lot of Ralph Lauren in here, a lot of Eileen Fisher, lots of linen, lots of silk, a lot of really nice pieces in here for sure. And let me know if you guys see any pieces that you like recognize as being worth something or that you just would have liked for your own personal closet. But yeah, just lots of really cool pieces. And then there was this wall of scarves, and I am sure that most of them were silk. And I did consider bidding on these, but I just didn't really want to list scarves. Although I love scarves myself, I've really kind of gone into like my scarf phase. Look at this really cool piece. I cannot wait to investigate this because spoiler alert, we won this side. And do you see at the bottom of your screen, do you see something poking out at you? Those are vintage Fry boots, which you guys, like, I didn't even see them. I didn't even investigate them. What was I thinking? What did I miss? Like, oh my gosh, I saw them on the listing. Thank goodness when we went to go bid because I was like, oh, those are vintage 70s Fry boots. And when I looked them up, like, I couldn't find a ton of sold comps, but similar ones were going for like upwards of 3, and I saw a few listed for like 6. So we'll see how much I actually get for these, but they were in beautiful condition, still in the box. There was 2 of them. Oh my gosh, you guys, I am just dying. I wish they were my size, but it's probably best that they aren't. But totally beautiful skirts down here, cool shoes all around. This was just like an amazing estate sale, amazing things here. I think these were more scarves to the side here, and these were 2 different lots if I recall, but just awesome, awesome stuff, beautiful clothing, and I truly cannot wait to show you guys because you guys are just gonna be so excited to see a lot of that. Oh, and that red one that you just saw, that was a black label Ralph Lauren. As you can see, like a lot of these still have tags on it. Like there was a surprising amount that still had tags on a lot of their stuff. So that's definitely going to help a lot with the resale value. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you would have picked up, how much you think I paid for these lots, because I think that's I would love to hear your guesses, how much you would have paid for them, how much you think I paid for them. And yeah, if you enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe, please share with your friends, and hype if you can. All of those things really help my channel grow, and I have really appreciated all of your supports thus far. If you're following along with the $6,000 challenge, I do have a new video that will be coming up hopefully soon. I have to film a little bit of a part of it and edit it, and with all of this bulk buy here, that has taken up a lot of my time, especially with Easter. So I so appreciate your guys' patience, but we have sold the piece and we are moving forward. I have already purchased stuff from the thrift store to sell for that challenge, so we are moving along with it. I just have to get the video edited and get it up. So again, thank you for your patience. Thank you for watching. And oh my goodness, you guys, I was about to sign off this video and I forgot that we had to look through this closet. Oh my goodness, you guys. Let me just show you a few more things and I will sign off. Hopefully you guys didn't just like leave. But there was this, I want to show you one thing. There were these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Ralph Lauren tapestry skirts. I did not win this lot. I wish I would have because I just wanted these skirts for myself. But whoever won them truly scored. This whole closet, at least this side and the other side, went for like $200. If that gives you guys a price range of how much you think I spent on some of these things. But truly just some really cool pieces. And there was some blazers and stuff on the other side. I don't know men's clothing that much. It is something I want to learn. But definitely there was some really cool higher end pieces in this closet as well. But anyways, I will maybe just throw some music on for the rest of this if you guys want to see the rest of the things in this closet, and just take a peek and let me know if you would have picked up some of this stuff. And I hope you guys have an excellent week, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.